I hope everybody's having a great day. Anyone with Prime or a sub to the channel can hear me now. We're about to be back live with about everybody else now. Get your emotes ready. Now, we may end up with, I was going to say, we might end up with Tautpack and Tekenu in chat since this was an async. This had to be an async, but they both finished it in a similar amount of time as far as like when I sent the seed out. And they do not know the results of this race. So any insight they give is just based solely on their decision making. So we're going to go ahead and get right into this, y'all. But get your emotes ready because we have another exciting matchup here between Tekenu and Tautpack. So for those who have not been keeping up with it, this is part of the Lost Worlds Clash that has been one of our summer events. And it is a side mode called Legacy of Cyrus. Or no, called Lost Worlds. Sorry, I got into autopilot a little bit there. I've been doing a lot of these restreams, but we're getting right into it, guys. The tracking will catch up with things as we go along. But we're going to see we have a Robo Magus start. So Robo Magus is interesting. We're going to have to keep an eye to see what techs are good. We're going to have to keep an eye out to see if we find any exciting gear as Tekenu goes deep into the sewers first thing. And Tautpack heads straight for the character recruitment available in the dome here. Tekenu getting that nice frog skip there and is rewarded with a haste helm as the second chest in the seed. Tautpack finding a Marl, which is a lot of our favorite party members in a Lost World seed. She comes with haste and the ability to have really good dual techs with her two damaging techs. So yeah, you can see we have a good laser spin, which means nothing. We have a good area bomb. We have a good ice 1. Our ice 2 is subpar. Dark bomb 20 MP. And we're gonna probably see them start looking in some shops for ethers as well. That's gonna be like one of the main thing you're looking for because it drastically changes how a seed feels. Tekenu gonna go catch himself a Marl as well. And Tautpack heading up the mountainside here. Heading up Dactyl Nest for that last character recruitment. Looking for something to replace Robo with since he didn't roll that good. As Tekenu finishes off that encounter and we'll get Marl in the back here. Alright, Tautpack nailing the first skip on Dactyl. Can they keep it for the second skip? As Tekenu continues looting the future and finding hopefully some good gear to go along with that haste helm. Tautpack does nail the second Dactyl Nest skip and will be rewarded with a chrono added to the party here. see Pack Tot in chat cheering on Tautpack. Getting more Luca weapons. There's a hero's medal on Tekenu's side. We happen to know there's no frog, but nobody else, like Tekenu, doesn't know there's not a frog. And that would certainly make you want to go look for one. Alright, Tautpack finding mid-ethers, but not, mid-tonics, but not ethers. Also finding mid-ethers, but you don't want to buy those unless you have to, because they're pretty expensive. Tekenu heading up Dactyl to check that character, hoping for a frog. We know it'll be a chrono. As Tautpack heads in to at least grind at Reptite, if not to do the dungeon. We'll find out after a few encounters here. A lot of people take these fights at the top, and if you're trying to do something like forcing an early new, or trying to set up that tech point doubling or tripling, this can be one of the fights that's easiest to access, although it's not the highest gains compared to a couple other fights. But, you know, a lot of people have different routes of going through this, and it all depends if you need, like, how badly you need the techs later on the tree. If you're, like, sitting around waiting for those techs or you can't really do much, then, like, figuring out how to get that new fight and get tech point doubling or tripling is going to be a big deal. Tekenu continuing up Dactyl here, going to get to the skips here. Tech nailing the first skip. Setting up on the second one. Feels a little robbed. And unfortunately just hitting that just barely. And it looks like Tautpack is in search of tech points or XP or a combination of the two. Gonna take this fight a few times. Sometimes if you're not sure what to do this early in a seed, you can kind of take this fight a few times and think, because you can autopilot this fight usually, even with bad techs. So that, sometimes you can buy yourself just a little bit of thinking time during a grind like that. Chat pointing out we had a 15 MP spin cut. Ice is 20 MP and Cyclone is 20 MP too. Alright, we see a gold stud in the hunting range here. We haven't seen ethers in the shops yet, but we haven't seen a ton of shops either. Alright, Tautpack feeling at a good spot for tech point values. Looks to be heading to Inhasa for that Zeal fight, for that new fight. Tekenu deciding to, he wants something out of that hunting range. We'll see what it is here shortly. Looks like we're going to see a couple frog fights. And Tautpack does head to Inhasa. Drops a safety save. We're definitely here for that new fight. Tautpack hitting that final book. That's going to unlock that new door. Important to note, the person that's kind of the hardest to deal with their tech point games is Ayla. None of her like 4th, 5th, or 6th tech unlocks like line up with anybody else's in a good way. She requires 50 more tech points than everyone else to learn her first tech in Lost Worlds. We don't have to worry about that this seed. All of these characters have pretty standard values. They're very easy to play around for what Tautpack's doing. But we don't have great AoEs. So you're going to see Tautpack is targeting certain news. That one at the bottom right is down now. We're going to see that top middle one and that bottom left one also targeted, because those are the ones that can finish you off in this fight. Black hole lining up really nicely on these 4 left news as Tekenu continues the hunting range here. Alright, let's see what Tekenu's here after. Looks like pedal horn. That's going to be a gold stud. That's pretty useful. We haven't seen ethers yet in the seed. A reminder, even though both of our racers are in chat and will be able to answer questions along the way, they're going to try not to answer stuff ahead. But also, they don't know the results of this race. So they're going to be learning right alongside us which one of them is moving in to the final Lost Worlds Clash async. So far, close your ears if you don't want spoilers for the previous matches this week. So far, Phone took the win over Nate and is heading into the finals. And Zayden defeated Spike in a hard-fought battle. So those are our 2 known entrants right now. And then one of these 2 runners, either Tekenu or Tautpack, will be heading. And we see the tech point tripling working out very nicely for Tautpack, getting a bunch of extra techs on those characters. And unlocking some excellent dual techs that we still have to check how they rolled and like figure that out, how they're gonna work out for us. But stuff like Ice Sword is just always handy to have. Yeah, ethers are in the Inhasa shop. So we have found ethers. That is going to make that gold stud a little bit less of a benefit. But it does save you from a lot of menuing. And it saves you from having to waste a lot of turns, especially in this early game, when you may only have a max MP of 30 to 40 on some of these characters that might be spending 15 on attack, 20 on attack, 10 on attack. But Tekenu also finding some mid-ethers, which is super nice. That gives you stuff to use for the bosses along the way. See the old stutter step behind the ape there. It's one of the old ways to do that skip. Love to see it. Tautpack coming in and getting the standard black rock. That is unfortunate. You have a 20% chance with the rocks of them having no effect. The effect they can get can vary quite a bit depending on the roll it gets, but it's a 20% chance to not roll anything. Tekenu finishes up a save point. We have a Shiva Edge. We have a Haste Helm. We're in a nice spot. I don't know if we have that Dark Bomb yet. I know it rolled well, but I don't know if we have it right now. Um, but we should have some magic to be able to get us through Nizbal 1 here. Meanwhile, Tautpack, looking to Death's Peak, says, I have a chrono now, and these power tabs are worth it. And deciding to check out the sewers. And does decide to go deeper. So Tautpack is going to find that haste helm that Tekenu found like first thing in the sea. That's going to be a huge find. Without that, it would have been a huge advantage for Tekenu going through this whole sea. That's wild for Tautpack to come back and decide, I have a chrono now, I also need loot. But it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense that you would you'd want loot when you have a chrono, because his power level is so dependent on what sword he's holding in his hands. Tautpack going through the area here as Tekenu finishes the first key item dungeon of the run. Tautpack has done a lot of things, but has not completed a dungeon yet. Tekenu is going to be the first one to get his hands on a key item. Will it be the pendant, or will it be a piece of go mode? And it is a clone. So that is a piece of the Black Omen go mode. We would also have to find the chrono trigger to be able to go that path. Meanwhile, Tautpack checking the shops in future. I don't know if we've seen all of these shops or not. Tekenu also heading to check out the shops. This merchant is making double pay today. Tekenu leaves. And he looks to Eris Dome for his next check. Meanwhile, where will Tautpack look? Eris Dome. They're at least checking the shops. We will see if they are... Wow, they are synced up. Look at this. Now remember, Tekenu has one extra piece of a key item right now. Tekenu has already completed a Reptite Lair and gotten that clone. We got Tautpack checking out the Intertron. Tekenu checking out the shop. He's still looking for ethers. He hasn't found regular ethers yet on Tekenu's side. He has that gold stud to help manage it, but he has not come across ethers himself yet. Tautpack, on the other hand, does have access to those ethers. About a room separates Tautpack and Tekenu. A room and a key item. Alright, Tekenu deep into this Guardian fight. Tautpack just starting it right behind him. Y'all, give me just a second. Are we dropping a lot of frames? Can somebody let me know? Do things look okay on your end, or is it buffering a lot on the individual runs? Okay. All right, guys, give me just a second. We're going to come back live in just a moment. I'm going to tweak a setting and see if we can get this running a little better. Give me just a moment, guys. All right, we should be back, y'all. So I was having a lot of trouble trying to like look at it on my phone and stuff. It seemed like it was buffering real bad on my end too. So let's get right back into this. All right, Tekenu finishing off that half of the aerostome and heading to the back half. No pendant in hand. Bumping into that rat fight. Tautpack on the other side is starting the back half of this Guardian fight. Has the bits down and is hammering away at the center now. All right, Tekenu heading into that back part to the Easter egg room. And then we'll get to find out what key item we'll get rewarded with here. What do you guys think it is? People that aren't the racers. We don't have the pendant, so we can't go into that back area to get that sealed door at this point. Shout out all three of those runners. Nate, I'm all in. Lord Batsy, all excellent runners. Thank you all for the new follows to the Jets of Time channel here. There will be more Jets of Time action coming up as well. Later tonight, we have a race between One Free Fits and I'm All In. And then tomorrow we have a race between me and Lord Batsy for the Clash. And there is our Dreamstone on Tekenu's side there. All right, Tekenu running straight to Sun Palace, looking for that last piece of go mode. Either one of them. You know, he's playing the 2 in 3 chance to find a go mode item here for him and send him on a path. Meanwhile, Tautpack about to walk out. This is Tautpack's first key item of the seed. And it's obviously it's going to be that Dreamstone as well. But where will Tautpack go next? There are three places open for them to go. They could go to the Sun Palace, like Tekenu did. They could choose to go to Genodome, or they could choose to go to Mount Woe. They're all kind of valid options in their own ways. And looks like Tautpack has their eyes set on Genodome. Tekenu, 2 party members down in the Son of Sun fight. He has that haste helm on Magus. And he is fighting through it. No reset, it looks like, on his side. I don't think we have something for that, but I can tell you, Soho, we have a few different races coming up. We have I'm All In versus One Free Fits tonight. I think that is... Let me double check what time that is for you guys. I'll pull those up. 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and that'll be me and Zayden. So Tekenu gets enough hits on Son of Sun and is now just throwing those revives out. Might as well get the fight rewards. Oh, bet. In how many hours? That would be... not a little under 5 hours from now. 4 hours, 45 minutes from now. Tekenu getting rewarded with the pendant, which means he has the same choice to make here as Tautpack. Also, it's worth noting, Tautpack also could have chosen to go to Reptite. They haven't completed Reptite Lair either. So, Tekenu in an interesting spot here. Any go mode gets a key item, or gets a go, or any key item gets a go mode for Tekenu right now. He has to choose one of the 2 long dungeons to do, either Mount Woe or Genodome. Tautpack is fighting through the conveyor in Genodome now. And Tekenu says, if I have a pendant, I'm sure well gonna get the gear from it along the way. As far as other races go, we have a race tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. between myself and Lord Batsy for the Clash. That will be to find out. I think that'll be the last. Yeah, that'll be the last spot. We'll find out of who's going into the final async. So 5, we've started with 10 runners. 5 will move on to this last async race. So far, just cover your ears if you don't want spoilers for the races previous. But so far, Phone took the spot in an epic match against Nate in the most difficult Lost World seed we've seen. And then last night, Zayden defeated Spike in another hard-fought match with different go modes to claim his spot. Today, one of these runners will punch their card to go to the async, either Tekenu or Tautpack. And the runners are in chat, but they do not know. They do not know who's won this race yet. Tautpack setting up Genodome. There's been a big movement over the clash of people moving away from Geno conveyor, or not Geno conveyor, moving away from conveyor skip towards a more traditional Genodome clear for the extra magic tab and the extra fight. So we've seen a big movement towards that by a lot of the runners that do Genodome. Not great loot in Geno so far. Tekenu decided even to go all the way, or go into Ares and get the sealed door there as well. Is heading out from that, and we'll have that difficult choice to make between Mount Woe and Genodome. We don't have great AoE techs, but that kind of makes both of these places a little scarier than they normally are. But Tekenu also hasn't found ethers. Not regular ethers, anyway. But we know his next key item gets him go mode. Whereas with Tautpack, we don't know. Tautpack gambling on a longer dungeon does not know where Pendant is. So this could, I mean, this isn't Pendant, we know that. But they don't going in. We know that it is either the Ruby Knife or the Chrono Trigger at each of these locations as Tekenu heads to Mount Woe. The save point not activating the shelter quite yet. It's a bit of a delay for Tekenu there. Tautpack not quite hitting Corinth skip. You can line up right on that horizontal line at the top of that chest. You can line your feet up on that about where Magus was standing, and you can run over and grab that chest. There's like, it's like a sideways dactyl skip. It's like a 2-pixel window. All right, Tautpack switching the door open. Tekenu using that dark matter, try to take out these beasts, but look, even dark matter is only doing 299 to the beasts here. Tautpack using lightning 2, and it's enough for the laser turrets, which is great. Speed tab drops on the laser turrets. That's gonna be nice. So that means you're probably getting 3 of those. And this is an instance where doing the route normal may or may not end up getting us another one here. Tekenu using his solid single target damage to take down the beasts. Tekenu gets to the bottom of Mount Woe. And we do get an extra for doing the dungeon the natural way here. On Tautpack's side. Not quite grabbing the magic tab there, I don't think, on Tautpack's side, unless they got it on the way in and I didn't see. Tekenu deciding to take a rubble. The problem is our 2 characters with pretty decent hit both have kind of okay weapons at best. Marl hitting for about 150, Magus hitting for about the same. It's just a little bit lower than you're kind of hoping for. But when you're weak and like Tekenu hasn't taken that new fight yet, and so he's got to like kind of make up that a little bit somewhere. And so there's going to be maybe some fights along the way on WoW that he can make up some of that XP tech point deficit and help his team become a little stronger for in-game. Meanwhile, Tautpack setting up everything for Gino and is going to go lead the robot. Now, while it is possible to open that gate there and get in with the electricity without having opened it ahead of time, it's a little bit, it's not as tight of a window by far as conveyor skip, but it does have a little bit of a window you have to hit for it. And if you forget that you need to open the locked door, you'll never make it in time. Tautpack taking the robot through the bottom part here, perhaps to eliminate a couple of the spots he can get stuck when he goes through the center. Tekenu nailing skips here. Running into the Fitz fight here, which could be a little scary for this team, honestly. So he runs, he gets out of there. Tautpack finishes the bottom floor of Gino. He's going to head through the laser guards and start the fight with Mother Brain. Now we know that's either going to be the Ruby Knife or the Chrono Trigger. We don't know what it is. But whatever it is, Tekenu's going to get the opposite. And anything is go mode for Tekenu. Tautpack needs it to be that Ruby Knife. Cannot afford for it to be a pendant. We happen to know it's not. Alright. The speed tab's making sure that we're going to be fast enough to hit those AoEs on the turrets. That kind of takes the danger out of the bottom, out of the upstairs here. Everybody tell me your favorite tech animation in the game. And why is it slash? No, low-key, it may be one of the races this week, but Spire has me hype right now. It's such a cool animation. I thought it was cool when I played the vanilla game, but it kind of scales out pretty quick. But it's just such a cool animation. Tekenu coming down for the extra loot. Tekenu in the perfect spot to black hole this whole encounter. Will it be enough? It was not enough. And this is a fight that can turn on you quickly with Confuse. But he gets through it, and it's a very valuable fight. 33 tech points. An elixir. That's going to get us Dark Mist, Haste, Lightning 2. Dino Tail is a cool one. Frog Flare made me laugh so hard. Can we talk about, for those that played Cross, They're one of the summons that you can get, and summons are kind of hard to get. One of the summons you can get is called like Frog Prince, and I thought for sure it was gonna be the frog from Frog Flare, and it just wasn't. Tautpack getting the ruby knife and heading straight towards Tyranno Lair. Wow. This is a very different dynamic if Tautpack finds the chrono trigger there. It's a very different dynamic for this. Tekenu gets to the top of the mountain. We know this is going to be a go mode as well. It's maybe the easier go mode, except that we are missing great AoEs, but I think we just maybe got a couple more chances to get okay ones here. Lightning 2 might have rolled okay. I'll have to kind of see what we have to use here. Lightning 2 rolled a 6. That's a little under vanilla. Tautpack running through Tyranno Lair as Tekenu faces the fearsome Giga Gaia on top of Mount Woe. Ooh, Dark Helm is a pretty nice find for Tautpack on the way. Excellent skips through Tyranno Lair. This is one of the hardest areas for new players to get down, because a lot of the rooms look similar and the skips are like kind of weirdly intricate compared to a lot of the other areas of the game. But we do hit that fight there. Tekenu continuing his fight, trying to take down those arms as quick as possible. Ice 2 rolled 1. Really low AoE damage in this seed. And with no frog, you can't even make it up with like ice water. Something like that. You're kind of stuck dealing with things one at a time. Also not quite the HP values to be able to just burst down the head and ignore one or both of the arms. Oh, Tekenu's right. That's the gold stud. So not actually a 1. It was a 4 roll on Lightning 2 or on Ice 2. So half the normal damage. Tekenu just hammering away at Giga Gaia. Meanwhile, Tautpack has taken Nizval 1 down. The first half of Tyranno Lair is gone. Now, we happen to know Tekenu will find his go mode from finishing this Giga Gaia fight. It will take him to the Black Omen, to Zeal, which is slightly longer in like amount of things you have to do, but also significantly safer than a Lavos go mode. So there's still a lot of race left here as Tautpack nails some bridge skips on the right side here and hits that final save point before the Black Tyranno. Meanwhile, Tekenu has taken down Giga Gaia. We get some nice tech point doubling on a big tech point reward. This will be Tekenu's Chrono Trigger. We are both in go mode and on our way towards Queen Zeal. Looks like Tekenu is going to run up to Zeal real quick. Probably wants to check the shop. Still has not found ethers at this point in the season. Y'all, we are just 44 minutes into this seed. To give you an idea, for a lot of even the top tier runners, finding go mode between 35 to 45 minutes is pretty average for a lot of the runners. And so for us to be 44 minutes and Black Tyranno on the screen is pretty wild on Tautpack's side. Tekenu is very strong after having done Mount Woe at the end there. It's helped make up a lot of his levels. He's in really nice levels for Death's Peak. He's found some decent gear. That haste helm is going to be huge. But the mutants stand in his way. We will have to see how that goes. Oh, I'm muted. I was saying, Ice Sword 2 hitting for almost 2k damage, about a little under 1800. Dark Bomb hitting for 1300. It's pretty solid damage to be able to push through that. A boss that can have up to 12k HP, but it has 0 now. We get a dash ring for our trouble. Meanwhile, Tekenu leaving, having set up Death's Peak, and will be on the way to his go mode as well. Tautpack, of course, is through Tyranno Lair now. We'll be heading to Ocean Palace through Zeal. The place, not the person. Tekenu getting the first skip on Death's Peak, nailing the second skip on Death's Peak. And bumping into that one there, using the old school stop strat. Tautpack, on the other hand, heading up to Zeal to start that single golem fight and earn our way to that grind spot where we can decide how much grinding we need to do and start heading towards our final tango with Lavos. Unfortunately, Tekenu taking a spill off the slippery slope of Death's Peak will have to take us back to the green skip. A really minor amount of time lost there. Tekenu, a master of getting 5 of this enemy on screen. Even when he's not trying to start the fight. Meanwhile, Chrono and gang at about level 28s means we will not have to spend that much time at the grind spot in Ocean Palace. A lot of XP and tech points were built into Tautpack's run, whether it be those grind fights at the start in Reptite Lair, the early new fight, the Geno conveyor, all of Genodome, because the back of Geno is even more valuable. So built really good XP into the routing on this run. Appreciate all the new followers to the Jets of Time channel today. If you like Lost Worlds action, we have more to come tonight and tomorrow. We see Tautpack dark bombing the golem because it's our best damage. But you can't really afford to leave him on Shadow. So then we're going to see that Ice Sword follow it up. Get him off of Shadow because Shadow's one of the scary techs you can have him on. And just a really well executed fight there. On Tekenu's side, we have a lava spawn. Excellent completion of lava spawn by Tekenu. Tekenu heading up to the cutscene here before Death's Peak opens up. And I'm sure he's thinking about the mutants. He's trying to like think about what the mutants are gonna do. How he's gonna take them down. Meanwhile, Tautpack finding another dash ring in Ocean Palace, sprinting through this place, hitting the switch. We now have access to the grind spot. We were level 28 a little bit ago. We are only going to go up from here. And we don't need that many levels. Blue Scouters hitting Tautpack, but taking the quick run away. Meanwhile, Tekenu deep into that cutscene. If anybody is interested in watching more of these matches, participating in one of the like SG Live events that we have upcoming, or our next Gato New Player Cup event in the winter, I'm going to post a link to the Discord for anybody that may want to hop in with us. Or wants more information about how to play and how to race Jets of Time. That is the best place to find that information. As well as we have a wiki at wiki.ctjot.com that has all of our information that our runners have compiled over the years. that is helpful to racing, from guides to spreadsheets of data to stats to boss strategies, everything you could want for somebody looking to get into this. Tekenu starts into Black Omen here as Tautpack has gone past the grind spot without a good AoE. Can't really take advantage of the grind spot. We also have pretty solid levels. And look, we're getting counterattacked by these guys, and these are the easy to kill ones of the grind spot. Tekenu, on the other hand, running into the goons. This is one of the enemies you kind of need an answer for. Usually if you're going to struggle with goons, there's a few encounters in here you might struggle with. Can we get some hype in chat for it only being 55 minutes into the seed? Tautpack past the grind spot, and Tekenu a good chunk into the Black Omen now? This is pretty wild. Tekenu heading into the panels room, the first panels room. Most of us, I think, remember the panels quite fondly because they let us charm speed tabs off them, if I remember right. Tautpack taking down the Thrashers and Lashers on the way to the elevator, and we're heading to the lift. Tekenu fighting the panels old school because again we don't have great AoEs. This has been a tricky seed compared to some of them in the Clash. I think there were harder seeds in the Clash, and I think there were much easier seeds in the Clash. Yeah, this is pretty close here. When you're usually watching these elevators. Elevators tell you a lot. But it's also this kind of an interesting situation where Tautpack has really good answers, I think, tech-wise, for like none of the fights ahead require an AoE. There's a couple fights that maybe like Lavos 2 would be easier if we had them. But Tekenu is definitely going to run into some enemies where they want you to have AoEs. So we'll just have to see how he tackles that. But I've been loving how close the Clash races are. Everybody has gotten so good at this flag set as we've gone. A lot of experimentation has happened with the first half of the seed, and a lot of optimization has happened on the back half of the seed for, I think, everybody who participated in the Clash. Tekenu able to start the elevator at the same time as Tautpack. And get on an elevator at the same time. Tautpack is strong. Tautpack has had answers for everything they've run into so far. You see Black Hole coming out. Yeah, absolutely different color. That Black Hole is going to take out 4 of the Scouters and put Tautpack in a real nice spot. Tekenu unfortunately hitting that eyeball fight. I call that hesitation skip, because if you hesitate, you will not get the skip. When you walk into that room, if you're holding right or upright when you walk in, you won't hit that fight or the other fight. There's 2 fights you can hit there, actually. Tekenu grabbing the last few chests on the way through here. These are high tier chests. Alright. A Shiva Edge. And we are at the new shop. Meanwhile, Tautpack, going for the Scouter skips, gets wedged in there. And will not get that first Scouter skip. Goes for the run, gets out safe. Tekenu, on the other hand, checking the shop. Not a lot to write home about, but elixirs and high ethers sure are handy. We do see him selling off some stuff real quick. Remember, this is an hour into the seed. Tekenu kind of hitting the back of Omen here. This is that area that kind of loops around through the eyeball room, and then it'll take us to our first mutant. Yeah, Tautpack is in a nice spot here. Level 31s across the board. Good dual techs. Good. We have access to ice, which means we have answers to help with the twin golems. We're not kind of stuck leaving them on bad techs, or leaving them on bad forms. Tekenu hitting the Ruminator room. Tekenu hits the eyeball room. Is trying to get them to shut their eyes so he can squeak past. This is always like worst case scenario for me, is when the right eye closes first. Because then it's like, even if the left eye closes, you're gonna have to wait again. Tekenu fast enough to get out of that fight pretty quick. There goes the second golem. Tautpack makes it through. Another challenging vanilla boss fight. Tekenu getting trolled by the eyeballs. Excellent. He does get through it, though. That's going to put Tautpack at the shell fight. Tautpack does have a little bit of a lead here. A lot of times when you are talking about these Lavos forms, I usually say Lavos 2 and 3 take about the same amount of time as all 3 forms of Zeal. And when you include the shell as well, it's at least Elder Lavos spawn and maybe a mutant difference. So we'll see. Because this is not a free end game. We're here very early. I think Tautpack's... I don't know Tekenu's PB. I can't say that for sure for these flags, but I think Tautpack's PB sits at a 120-10, something like that. 120-28, something like that. So getting here this early is a lot of pressure. Knowing it's part of a race. Yeah, 118 was the PB. Was Tautpack, or is Tautpack's PB going into this race? Oh yeah, I forgot Tautpack, I think got a PB like this week. Which is awesome. See, getting through the shell fight, Tekenu preparing for this mutant fight, and then he'll have an elevator, and then he'll have a mutant Elder Lavos and our final gauntlet. So sitting at this final split at 106.40 for this final save point split is pretty nice. But it's scary. Because Lavos will Lavos. He chooses to. We've all seen it. Tautpack making sure they're geared up and heading in, try to finish this run off. Tekenu on the other side here, taking out what is sure to be the hardest of the mutants, because this is the one you need to kill both halves of. The other mutant, we have single target magic to kind of help with that. It's not great. We're hitting for 800 with Ice 1. Some of these fights can be pretty tricky when you're dealing with, about 1,000 damage for these techs for a turn. But we're doing a little bit above that to both halves with Dark Bomb. I'm pretty sure that the Haste Helm... Yeah, the Haste Helm is on Magus, so that lets him continue hammering away with that. And then the others can just keep his MP full and his health full. Meanwhile, Tautpack losing Magus, having to get him back up so that you can continue the assault. One arm is already down. And we see the mutant drop onto Tekenu's side. He's going to hit his second elevator. This is the elevator that if you see it at the same time as the other elevator, it is a close race. So we will see how this goes, because if anything goes wrong for Tautpack, we are right back to that split. We're right back to that save point. Yeah, a lot of people, Tautpack mentioning calculated decision to get an arm down, knowing he'd lose somebody when Magus dropped earlier in the fight. And that's very true. A lot of people can get into heal loops in Lavos 2 or Lavos 3. And sometimes you don't have, like, sometimes you're missing out on damage because you're healing too much. And sometimes you have to play a bit more aggressive so that you can hit those damage thresholds you need to. Tekenu on that second elevator fighting the Ruminators. Could see goons. Tautpack relying on Chrono heavily for this Ice Sword damage. As Tekenu enters the final hallway, this is the final hallway before we run into Terra Mutant, Elder Lavos spawn, and the final boss gauntlet. We are right there at 1:10:20. With a 118 with a 118 PB, Tautpack hits the menu glitch, heals up, and looks to try to break that in a live race at the end of a grueling Lost Worlds clash. Meanwhile, Tekenu making sure he has every tool at his advantage, taking out this goon fight. This goon fight is worth 50 tech points, so bat skip is cool. I like bat skip. You don't always got a bat skip. Sometimes it can be handy if you're just that close to one more tech, or your HPs are low. Something you can choose to do. This fight also, this Tubster fight, 60 tech points for this fight, although they have a lot of HP. Meanwhile, Tautpack getting set up here. Haste on Marl, the haste on Chrono. Switch the haste helm, looks like. What a brilliant move to switch the haste helm over to Marl, let you haste Chrono, and start Ice Sword as quick as possible. Gino early is one of the many plays that is meta right now. We have several different openings from different runners throughout this clash, but Gino early is a really interesting play. There's I do a move called Crab Conveyors, where I'll do Factory Conveyor into Looting Factory, into New Fight for tech point tripling, into Gino for my first check. And I'll have all my techs except the bottom two when I leave Gino. Tautpack has that center bit down though. The defense goes down, and we're going to start hammering away with fire swords. Yeah, Gino's definitely the longest dungeon. I thought it was interesting, Zayden focused in on learning Gino and chose not to learn Mount Woe. Because he said you'll never need both. And that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, Gino does have a speed tab. That's my thing. But also, we've seen a meta shift away from conveyor skip in Gino. We've seen a meta shift towards doing it the natural way. very optimized and getting some of the loot, but it's interesting. I love the divergence that can happen in these Lost World seeds. The number of races that we've had that went different go modes and have ended this close is astounding. The time between some of the best runners for some of the asyncs and the like lower runners, lower timed runners, is sometimes less than like 15 minutes between the top tier runners and the new players. It's pretty cool. Hey, I can do Geno like 9 out of 10 times. I've stopped doing it. That's all I'm saying. Also, shout out, real quick, shout out in chat to Procky. Procky is probably the OG Lost Worlds runner. He is the one that taught me how to play, and the clash wouldn't happen without Procky. Wouldn't have happened without Procky. As we see Tautpack finish Lavos off. We'll have an official time on screen here in just a moment, y'all. It's a 1:14:46. Tautpack cutting almost 4 minutes off their PB. In a phenomenal race. But Tekenu played so well. He's right there. Because keep in mind, most of the average time for almost every async in the Lost Worlds Clash has been like a 1:24 is the average, right? So like this is a very fast finish by Tautpack, but that doesn't take away from Tekenu's performance here. We're still at an hour 16, and Tekenu is one boss away from a final boss gauntlet. Now to introduce all the Clash players to Lost Worlds Plus. Right, Procky? Tautpack with a strong finish. We will switch over the audio to Tekenu here shortly. For those that don't know, Lost Worlds Plus is a mode where you do a Lost World seed. You do get one go mode and then you reset. So Tautpack would reset now and do New Game Plus, and then would have to go do would have to go do Mount Woe and Eris, or Mount Woe, no, Mount Woe and Reptite, and go do that go mode. Tech, that was still a close race. That was still a close race. Hunting range cost some time, but I think Tautpack made aggressive moves on TP gains and got earlier access to good techs. I think that made a big difference. And you made up some of that with like Mount Woe gives a decent amount of tech points, but so does Chino. Yeah, no, it wasn't a ton of time. Just a little bit. Tekenu starting off the gauntlet fight here. As we enter 1 hour and 18 minutes into this Lost Worlds race. If you've had fun tonight, or if you've had fun today, in about 4 hours, we will have more Lost Worlds action. As I'm all in, we'll take on one free Fitz. These are the 3rd and 4th seeded players in the last Lost Worlds Clash facing off tonight. Tomorrow, at 4:30 Central, we will see Lord Batsy versus AcidCrab. But congratulations to Tautpack for a strong win and a strong finish. And congrats for punching their ticket into the last async of the Lost Worlds Clash. If you don't want spoilers, close your ears now. But Tautpack will join Phone and Zayden in that final async, as well as the winner tonight and the winner tomorrow night. So we will have to see what happens. The Mammon Machine goes down for Tekenu. And we head into Zeal 2. We have very nice single target damage. Tekenu, I'm sure, has a plan here. And we'll see how it plays out. We see the haste immediately coming out onto Chrono. We see Ethers hitting Magus. We're ready to start doing damage, which is good because we need to get started. This is a damage race to 10k before Hexagon Mist can come out. We're hitting for over 3k with our duo. That's excellent. We already have haste on both of them and on Magus. There's no way we lose this damage race. Tech has put himself in a spot where there's no chance. He's just set up such a powerful team for this boss. He knew this boss was not going to be the hurdle. But he still has to execute it well to finish this out strong. Hits for another 3,000. A big part of the fun of the Lost Worlds Clash this year has been having tech damage rando as a part of it, as well as gear rando. Gear rando is already pretty interesting, but tech damage rando completely changes what techs are good every single seed. So maybe this seed, Dark Bomb rolled 20 and it's scaled up, but maybe the next seed, Ice 2, is 20 on Marl, and it's your first tech. And now you have an answer to a lot of places. You have an answer to Geno, you have an answer to Woe, you have... It's really wild. Tekenu with a clean finish. We will have the official time up on screen in just a moment. But an excellent, strong finish from both of our runners. No end-game wipes is crazy. Tekenu making it through some wild mutant fights just with the skin of his teeth. Tekenu has been around for a long time, and it's awesome to get to see him race live, or get to see him race again. And I can't wait to see everybody else in the other Lost Worlds races. GG to everybody involved. Tautpack played an incredible game. Tautpack coming from our Geno, or our Gato Cup just a couple months back, where we had our new player mentor mentee event where we get paired up with people, and Lord Batsy, I believe, was Tautpack's mentor, and Lord Batsy's an excellent player, so that worked out very nicely, as you can see from Tautpack here. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'm going to get out of here so that we can have some time before we get back together for I'm All In versus One Free Fits. Hit me up if you want to race Lost Worlds Plus. And otherwise, thank you so much for hanging out. And we will see you later. Tonight it is me and Zayden on commentary. Zayden is awesome. He won an incredible race last night. If you want to see one of the wildest races, you should check out the race last night on Jets of Time. It should hit YouTube soon as well. But thank you guys for joining. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.